Hello, welcome. Happy to see you here. I hope you're not too hungry. So, I am Eleonora, and this is Lana, and we founded Co.LAB. That is an online platform and community for entrepreneurs, creators, and innovators. And today we are talking about, what it means to be an entrepreneur. That's our experience, online and offline, so on every platform. So I want to ask you a question. Who here are planning on starting their own business? 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And who have their business now already? Yes, we too. So this is a very, very important question because as you see in this slide, out of approximately 7 billion people worldwide, 400 million are entrepreneurs. That means that 1 in 18 people own their own business. That for us is a very big number. It means that we need to prepare for this change. Probably, a lot of people will be entrepreneurs in their future, even if they don't plan to, because that's where the economy is going. So another question is, and I think that I know the answer, who here has bought a product or service online? Yes, me too. We buy a lot of services online at the moment. So that means that we are in the 4th industrial revolution, because the nature of business today is changing. When we were younger, we are a bit older than most of you, we were buying stuff in stores or markets or from people, because there was no online business. There was no internet when I was born. Just can imagine how old I am. There was no internet, no email, no Twitter, no Facebook, no social media. So there was not an online presence to worry about. There was only the offline world, the real world. And now it's changing. Now we are not doing business only face-to-face, but online most of the time. So we buy things online, we buy services online, we work with people we never saw. I have clients I work with, I never saw them. I never saw their faces. So that's a real thing. So the World Economic Forum calls the change the 4th industrial revolution and says it will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. For the younger people here, I see that this is the way you are used to live. There is no difference between being online and being offline with your friends or what you do. It's very fluid. All is very connected. It's a bit different for my generation or older generation. We really see the difference. And so we are trying to adjust to the change. So, this digital transformation makes us ask the question, how can we maintain a competitive edge? So if you're building a business, how can we be competitive in a market that is so different, it moves so fast, that we cannot even, there are new social networks growing, and we don't know, should they be on Facebook, should they be on Twitter, should they be, I don't know, whatever. Should they work online, offline? Those are all questions you need to ask yourself and answer. So, to be competitive, you need to build a digital enterprise that is capable of taking full advantage of every of these tools and way of connecting. So social, mobile, web, cloud, analytic technologies, but also real life, because we are real people and we like to connect with each other in real life. Like we're here, we are talking with real people now. This is a fantastic experience that online, it's a bit different, it's not so good. So, to have the competitive edge, you need to integrate people, processes, capabilities to deliver an omni-challenge experience. So this digital transformation is reshaping the way we are making business. How also we thrive in our business. So we don't need only the business acumen to grow our business, but also the digital skills. That's very important. No matter whatever you do, you need the digital skills. I want to talk to you about an example that I was thinking is very fitting. I was thinking about it this morning in the train. Who knows Metallica? Yeah. Yeah. Metallica is a metal rock band. You should all know them, because I love them. They're great. Okay, Metallica is a band that was born in 1981. And that means that they have been in business for 36 years now. So I think we can agree that they have a good business model, because they've been doing business for 36 years and they are very successful. And they are not just a band, they just not do music, they also are a brand. They're a business. So how do you think they make money? Any idea? Right. But when they started, they made money through selling their work, selling their albums. That was the only way that bands or musicians were making money. Yes, also with tours and concerts, but the main way to make money was selling their CDs, or at the time, even not CDs, to selling their music. But something happened. Do you know what Napster is? Yes? In 1999, someone decided to build one of the first peer-to-peer services, so people could exchange files, quite illegally, of course. And Napster was all about MP3 files. In 2000, so 70 years ago, Metallica found out that one of their songs was out in the world before the album was out. And they were quite pissed, because they say, okay, but we make money by selling our music, and if people can download the music for free, we are fucked. We are not making any money anymore. Nobody's going to buy our music. That was a big problem. So Metallica filed a lawsuit with Napster, and was not the only ones, because they say, we need to stop this. But what they didn't understand, probably, you couldn't stop that. So you cannot stop these kind of things from happening. So fast forward this year, my husband and I are a big fan of Metallica. We got so lucky that we got 2 tickets for their concert. And so we went to the concert, and at some point we got an email before the concert and say, oh, because you bought a ticket, you're getting 1 copy free of our album, the real one, not digital. So we got 2 copies of the last album. And then make it reflect, they are not selling them. They're giving them away. Because as you were saying before, now they don't make money with the album so much, they make money with the merchandising, with the t-shirts, licensing their stuff, and then concerts. And they were also selling not only the normal tickets, but also the experience. So if you pay $2,000, you can have the experience of Metallica concert. This is how they make money now, because things change it, and you cannot stop technology. You cannot just do lawsuit every 5 minutes because somebody is progressing digitally and doing some other stuff to steal your things. Another example, if I can take some of your time, is Netflix. Netflix has an abonnement, a subscription you can do with your friends. So you can subscribe 4 people on the same account for very little. That's because they know that everybody was sharing the password. They know that I'm making the subscription, and I sell or give the password to my friends. So why fight it? Just embrace it. So I think those are very good examples of business that embrace the change. Maybe a bit difficult at the start, but they embrace the change. So I think this is a very good example of how you cannot fight it, but you need to work with it. So, as Metallica, the omnichannel experience is offering both online and offline experiences. So Metallica is offering a very expensive experience to go to their stage, to go to the concert, buy the t-shirt. It's really using all the channels. And this is a successful model. So they embrace the fact that the digital transformation is the new phase of how we do business. So otherwise, you're dead. So I think I will take Metallica examples. I want to be here 36 years from now to tell you the story how we are being together, working together for 36 years. That's another thing I like to explore. How did they stay together for 36 years on the same stage without killing each other? So, why do this small business fail? I hate this slide. I hate it because I am a small business. I don't want to fail. So how it is that Metallica and other bands and other businesses have been in business for so long and others fail in their first year? I want to know because I don't want to fail. I want to be here and do my business. So these are very, very bad numbers. We need to change this, okay? Because it's painful to see when someone put on their ideas and they fail, right? I don't like it at all. So this is why they fail. Let me check. Where are we? Yeah. We found out that those are the reasons why they fail. The first one shocked me, to be honest. 42% of startups fail because they offer a product or service that nobody wants. Isn't that stupid? I mean, they're offering this service nobody wants. So it's very, very, very bad. So in your business class, how much time do you spend focusing on your market fit? You know that? How many time do you spend learning about how to do market research? How to know if you are developing a product or service that someone actually wants to buy? Yes, this is very important because you can do the best thing ever for you, but you are not the market. And maybe nobody wants it. Huh? So, good. We hope you're learning. We hope you're learning and listening very well to your teachers. Because the second reason is 29% of startups fail because they run out of cash. And you run out of cash very quickly if you spend time developing something that doesn't work and nobody wants. So you maybe spend 2 years developing a product that you can sell it. Of course, you run out of cash. So we don't like it, right? No, we don't like it. So I'll pass the microphone to my partner, Lana, that will go on. So if you want to know more about Metallica, just ask me.
Thank you, Eleonora. So what Eleonora pointed out in this slide is actually something we got really interested on. When we found out about this in our entrepreneurship class, we wanted to ask, okay, so if 42% fail because there's no market need, and we can give a lot of examples. In our class alone, we have classmates who are developing apps because they're in the Delft University, and they've been doing 1 to almost 2 years of their time trying to develop an app, only to find out that there is no market need for it. Just imagine, the disappointment in doing something like that, and then later on finding out nobody would buy it. Or another example would be, and I wouldn't want to name names, but there was an app that was made for people to connect together and find out who are in their area and where you can mingle. So it was even given a funding at the start, but after 2 years, they closed. Because after developing the app, people used it, but there was nothing after that. So looking at market fit was really an essential question. But also another question that we looked at was the running out of cash. So this is what we did. We ran out a survey online, and we had about 119 entrepreneurs responding to the survey. And what we found out that entrepreneurs take about 1 to 2 years to develop their business idea. 1 to 2 years. And if this data is correct, it means you're bankrupt already on your first year. So it means you don't have any more cash to follow through with your idea, no matter how brilliant it is. And this is the reason why we're thinking, how can we do that? How can we shift this grim reality and yeah, to make it into our advantage as small business entrepreneurs. And one of the things that we're trying to do at Co.LAB is to really have an online learning and community platform so that we can understand these business ideas, business concepts, and how we can leverage that. And one of the three things that I would like, to share with you today are the 3 C's. Collaboration, connection, and crowdfunding. I heard a while ago that there are people who are interested in crowdfunding, who are interested in learning more about crowdfunding. We'll tackle that at the last part, because the first 2 C's are what we consider to be very important as well. So thinking of collaboration. A while ago, there was one guy. You already have your business, right? Is anybody here who has their business already started? Also already an entrepreneur aside from Renee? No. So Renee has her business. And if you think of the number of hours that you spend with your business, how many hours would that be, do you think? 50-hour weeks, just trying to get things running. And just to give you an idea of how that would work, you have, of course, creating your business plan, you have creating your website, writing blog posts or connecting with people, making your administration, your taxes, filing your taxes. The list goes on. So entrepreneurship is actually not something that's very, easy. And this is not to discourage you, but this is more to give you a reality that entrepreneurship really requires smart work. And collaboration is one way to say, oh, this is how to leverage that smart working. I can share a good example. Ever since Eleonora and I started working together, officially, and that is at the start of the year, we were able to create massive task out. We have a website. We have that done. We've created a beta test for our mastermind program. We've even written a book, which Eleonora, can you pass around so that they can? And this is what is in the Kickstarter campaign. So we've written the 90-day action planner to be a condensed version of what we do with our clients and to show it, to showcase what we do to other people. And collaboration, in a sense, like what they say here, businesses with 2 owners are more likely to thrive. Why? There's quite a lot of big factors. One, you're not doing the work on your own. You have other people that you can be accountable with. You have other people who would be doing, their zones of genius with. So like say, for example, between Eleonora and I'm more of the connector. She's more of the branding, the design, and then the content we do together. So which fits in perfectly because I would be the one talking to people. She will be doing the branding, the designing. That beautiful book that is being passed around, that's all her work. And yeah, we develop the content together. And it makes it easier for us. So there's activities that we do, like she handles the finances, I handle this, the social media part, we also share it. So it's a shared effort. You don't have to do things on your own. So if you have a business idea and you're thinking of how you can leverage online and offline businesses, think about it first. Who can you collaborate with? Who among the next part, which is your circles of connection, who among your circles of connection do you think you can work together to bring that idea to life? At Co.LAB, we don't believe in competition. We believe in collaboration because collaboration can get us somewhere. Collaboration can make things easier. It can bring ideas to life quicker. And what you're seeing now is a framework that we're using in the book, the 90-day action planner. And this is the circles of connection. This is a very, very simple framework of looking at who among in your circles of connection can leverage you in your business. Who are in your relationship circle, your friends, your family, people that you connect with on a regular basis, your classmates, your colleagues. And then ask that, if friend A, say Alvin, has a connection that can help you build your website, then talk to that person, connect with that person. Have that discussion with them and say, hey, I'm building my website and this is my idea. Do you have anybody who you can help out or you can refer me to? So building on your circles of connection helps you to leverage your ideas better. Another one would be, aside from your relationship circle, will be your revive circle. These are people that you meet probably like here, now, you don't know us, you just met us now. These are the people that you say, oh, probably, can help you find new connections, find better contacts, or have an information that that you can be shared with too. Or you can also think of the revive circles as people that you meet in networking events, activities in school. And this is really looking at who among these people that you're meeting are actually interesting to nurture a relationship with. So the idea is to bring them to your relationship circle. Yes? As a what? A consultancy? Yes. And then the last part is your reach out circle. So reach out circles can be your influencers. Those people that you say, oh, are inspiring you in what they're doing. This can also be people who are very active in social media that you say can have, other connections that can leverage your business idea further. So looking at all these circles, you can now plan, who do I connect with? Who are the people that I can, talk to? And really making it as intentional as possible. Like say, for example, one of the things that we are always in discussions with is who do we want to reach out to? And when we started our Kickstarter campaign, we even reached out to a very prominent person who's doing business strategy, and that is Tara Gentila. So I went in and became one of her members in her group, online group, and then had that discussion with her. And then from there, I said, hey, we have this book. We have a 90-day action planner, and we would like to give you a copy. And she said, yes. It's as simple as that. It's having that connection. And now I have a direct connection with her. I have her email address. I even have her postal address. And there is that ongoing dialogue already. So looking at all these circles can help you leverage your business. Now, who here have read this or have seen this quote before? So this is according to, yes, Jim Rohn, where he said, we are the average of the 5 people that we spend our time with. And if we really think about it, this is the law of averages. So if you spend, most of your time, say, with people who don't have a clear idea of where they want to go, most likely you'll end up being that part of the crowd. But if you say you're spending a lot of your time, say, with people who have brilliant ideas, who can make them happen, who are, setting up actionable things, then you're most likely to be in that group as well. So thinking of that, thinking of the law of averages, just really look into your circles. Who are you spending your most time with? And is this nurturing you, in your business or not? Now, Kickstarter. This is now the part that I think most people are waiting for. So as you can see, our numbers are dismal. We're just at 50. Was that 52%? If I'm not mistaken. So we're just above 50+%. 57. But okay, so when we started crowdfunding, it was with the idea of we can get the book printed and funded. That was the initial thought. However, the first week of doing the crowdfunding, we realized crowdfunding is actually not just that. Crowdfunding is, one, getting credibility, being more visible as to what is it that exactly that you're doing and what is it that you're offering. Ever since we started doing the crowdfunding, these are the things that have happened to us just for this month alone. We're giving this talk, that's one. Last week, Thursday, we were in the Get in the Ring program in Rotterdam, where we pitched our company to two major organizations. One was Rabobank, and the other one is Amazon Web Services. And both of them said yes to us. You know, they're delighted. Thank you. So we're now at the second phase of that connection, meaning giving them the proposal, talking with their big shots, and then seeing where it goes. But we have our foot in the door, so to speak. Yes. It's not just the crowdfunding, it's the idea that we have something created. You know, it's an idea that there is something that we can show to people and say, hey, here, this is what we do. And this is just a condensed version. It's not even the full picture. So all the more that they get excited of, oh, if this is the condensed version, what more with the full program? So that's one, you know, it gives credibility. Another one is, it also helped us to align ourselves with who do we really want to reach. Because at first, we were like, the first week, we were like massively, you know, messaging people, asking family, friends, can you fund our program? And then after that first week, we realized, wait a minute, you know, would we want to be doing this thing for the next 3 weeks and also still just get very minimal results? So it made us go out of our circle and say, who else can we reach out to? And that's why, you know, we reached out to Tara Gentile, we reached out to another prominent blogger, we reached out to, you know, who else did we give the books to? To marketing strategist. And also for the people in Rabobank and Amazon, we have the product directly and we gave it to them, and that's why they can see it immediately. So that was...
Something about the trip?
Yes.
I just want to say something. At some point, she called me and she said, we are going to Luxembourg. And I say, it's 5 hours drive. I say, I'm only one who drives. And I say, I'm not really sure I want to drive 5 hours to go and 5 hours on this Friday. Because we have the event on Thursday, to all day. We went back home at midnight, so I was quite tired. We have another meeting with our group on Friday morning. That means do all this and then grab the car and drive to Luxembourg and do this event in the evening. And I was really against it. I mean, I was feeling so tired. And she insisted, we need to go to Luxembourg. So we really needed to align, is this going to Luxembourg event? Something that will bring us more visibility, that will bring us a way to connect with people. And so we did, okay, we go. We drive there, we sleep there, we go to the event. She pitched my story without me knowing to the, to the event organizer, and it was a blast. It was the most productive evening we had. So it was worth it. I was a bit tired in the end, but it was worth it. And just because we wrote a book and we had this to show, and we had this kind of, I say, authority to say, hey, we wrote a book. We are really experts. We are good. So that was a very good idea. Thank you for having it.
So the idea of having, you know, a product that you put at crowdfunding also puts you out there, also puts you in the limelight in terms of people searching for you, looking for you, and doing your ideas. Because when you have a crowdfunding, you also have to do the work. You know, you still have to continue the conversations, posting updates. What is it that you're doing? Who are you connecting with? And this is something that I've been doing regularly in my LinkedIn profile. Before this crowdfunding, I wasn't active at LinkedIn at all. It wasn't my, it wasn't my stick, so to speak. But because of this crowdfunding, I said, okay, I'll be religious in putting in updates, sharing things, what's going on. And I even had one post of our trip to Luxembourg that gathered about 900 views, which normally I would just have 100 to 200 views in my post. Yes. No. We're also active in our own Facebook group, which is Co.LAB for creators and innovators. And we're also giving free online training in our own Facebook group. So we're continuously growing that. I know from my top of my head, we've already reached more than 300 members. So that's also one thing that we're growing alongside. Eleonora does also Instagram, so she's also growing that as well. Especially if you have a very physical product, having Instagram is an advantage. But yeah, like what I was saying, you know what Eleonora said. Friday we went to Luxembourg, and that was for the European. Yes, this is what happened. So the guy that is in the photo is Yves Even, which is a partner from Ernst & Young in Luxembourg. And we had a blast having that conversation with him. In essence, he's the big shot in Ernst & Young. If you don't know Ernst & Young, Google it. It's a very big corporation. And one of the things that was fascinating for us was for the Thursday event in Get in the Ring, I applied us to talk to Ernst & Young in Amsterdam, but we got rejected. So we didn't have that talk Thursday with them in the Rotterdam program. So the next day, and that's also the reason why I told Eleonora we're going to Luxembourg, because they were the ones who were hosting the event for the European Entrepreneurs Conference. And knowing me, I check out who are coming, who are hosting, and then who are the people to connect with during that event. Although I didn't know him personally in terms of who are the partners there, but I was really determined to connect with somebody from Ernst & Young because they have a Young Innovators program which helps startups build programs or trainings. So we are lining ourselves up in that area. Yes. 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 Well, this is actually what we're now doing with our one-on-one consultations, to help them identify what is your minimum viable product and see how you can leverage that. Because in essence, this is our MVP. That's the minimum viable product that we want everyone to have. And from there, we're also offering other services. So what we're doing now with our one-on-one client is to think of, if you're starting, start with an idea that is viable. What is something that is very tangible that you can show to others, that you can give out to others. I wouldn't say write a book that is a novel or, write a workbook, because that is tangible. It's something that they can fill in, something that they can, answer.
From a branding point of view, what I learned when I was a young designer and I was looking for work in agencies, and again, internet was not really a big thing, so we really went to agency with our CV on paper to try to get it on the right desk. And one thing a person said to me, try to do something that it will stay on their desk. Because if you give your curriculum, it's a pile of paper just there. So one year I developed a small calendar, a Happy New Year, whatever, that I made myself with my hands. And I gave it with my curriculum. And this handed on the desk of a person I really wanted to connect with. And 3 years later, he said, oh, I remember your calendar. So it took me a while. But what I advise people is to always have something to give that is not just a basic card, not just a business card. And it can be developed actually for anything. It can be a set of postcards. It can be something that you leave to people that is very difficult to throw away, because that's the thing. So for us, in a certain way, the book is this foot in the door to show people that we know. But even if you have a program, something that is online, try to make it something that people can touch and feel. Maybe sometimes it's not possible, but in many cases, it's possible. So it's like conversation slides, as I call them. So like if you have a set of postcards and say, this is my story, it's something that facilitated the conversation. For us, the book is a big conversation opener. It's a way to talk about something that interests us and then can bring more in-depth conversation. So we're not saying everybody needs to write a book, because sometimes it's not possible, But try to think how can you bring people to really understand what you want to do, to really give them something that is not just a piece of paper like this, because they will throw it away. So this is an expanding concept on branding, how to make it physical, even if you are in an online world.
And this is also where the blended part of business comes in. Like what Eleonora mentioned a while ago, most of our clients we don't even see face to face. This is now the new business. Most likely when you get out from university, you'll have clients who you just Skype or Zoom, or talk to online. And it's okay, that is how the shifting economy is going. But what we're also realizing is connecting is still valuable. Connecting in such a way of how do you talk to that person? How do you maintain the connections after talking to that person? How do you engage the conversations? And these are ways that you can look at. When we started the Kickstarter campaign, like I said, our idea was just to get it funded. Now we're actually not, of course, we would want to get it funded, and it will get funded. We're sure of that. But what we're now seeing is there's quite a lot of opportunities that follow because we were bold enough to get ourselves out there. We were bold enough to say, hey, this is what we have, this is what we do, and this is what we're capable of, and we can provide you with something more. So instead of that fancy, calling card that people would just give out and do nothing with, we now have something more tangible. So what Eleonora mentioned in terms of finding out, what is it that you can do? Plus, again, going back to that idea of market fit. This is actually our test for our market fit. Having those books in the hands of entrepreneurs, using them, we'll have, for those who would purchase the book, those who would be purchasing will have a 90-day action planning challenge from January to March. So we would have weekly check-ins with them to know where they are. And this is our market fit. This is us doing a research on, is our book, used in the way that we want it to be. So we're doing, we're using a book not just for selling, we can actually just give away the book if we want to. But it's more than that. It's testing if our ideas that creators, innovators, those who are starting ups need alignment in their business. Not just alignment, but also goal setting, planning. And this is what is, in essence, part of the program. So this is our market fit research. We'd want to figure out if at the hands of entrepreneurs, our planner can help jumpstart them for January to March of next year. And then after March, then we would be able to see if we have to revise something or if we have to add other components. Then we can improve on the product that we have, the idea that we have. And this is lean business. I know you've been discussing it in your business class. Basically just get something out there that is your minimum viable product, test it out with the people that you want, either test it with the crowdfunding if you want to, or test it out with a small group of beta testers. But test it out so that you can refine it, you can tweak it, you can grow on it. Yes. We're doing this, that's one component. Yes, we do want to be rich. We also want to contribute. Because as entrepreneurs, Eleonora's been in the business for 20 years. I've been in as an entrepreneur for more than 5 years. And I've been doing consultancy for more than that. But one of the things that we also realize is it took us a long time, for us to be clear with our messaging, clear with what we want to achieve, clear with what we want to, move forward to. And this is something that we cannot, we cannot go back to. What we can do is help, entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs like you, to make those decisions for yourselves. And if say, a few of you say, okay, I've used the 90-day action planner, or I've taken one of your 90-day programs and have jump-started my career, we're shifting economy. We're shifting the balance, and that for us is a big contribution. So yes, we do want to be rich, but we also want to contribute. Yes. Okay. So in what market? Yes. So the niche that we're, what's this? The niche that we're focusing on are creatives and innovators. Those who would like to learn more about business, but they get either bored or scared when you're talking about value proposition, business model canvas, you know, all those big terms and jargons in business and management schools. So in essence, what we're trying to capture are people, you know, who are not most likely to take an MBA program or, you know, to take a full course on business management because, let's face it, their creative minds do not work in that sense, or they're easily taken aback by just, you know, talking about numbers and figures and things like that. So we want to capture that niche. This is the, you know, this is the crowd that we're targeting. But again, based from our experience with the Kickstarter campaign, now that we're talking, now we're pitching to companies, we realize that what we're also offering are services for, like Rabobank. They're very interested in the program for their starters, meaning those who are asking for money for a loan because they would want to start their business. And of course, because they're starting their business, why not have someone train them on how to do business? So this is the market that we're looking at. You know, there's two ways, there's two folds. So we're doing B2B, business to business, and also business, to clients, personal clients themselves.
I don't have a program for startups at the moment. I just give the money. And of course, it's their interest that the people they give the money to are successful so they can give the money back. That's in small words. So they don't have a program to support them, and they would like to have one. So because we already have a method, it would be beneficial for them to work with someone who already have a method. And because most of the people who start a small business with them are quite people, like they want to open, I don't know, a barber shop or something like this. That is not necessarily people who have a background in business. So they will not understand certain business terminology or business. I'm the niche. I mean, I'm the niche. I'm a very creative person. I have a lot of ideas that failed because I didn't have a business background. I didn't want to have it because it was like, well, that's not my thing. I hate it. And then I realized if I want my ideas to succeed, I need to learn. So we're trying to translate all this in something that is easy, fun, that they got the good terminology so that people can really see, oh, it's not alien jargon. It's actually something that I can manage to learn. So that's how we differentiate from the others, or we try to. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's how it works, but it's clearly not very smart, we think.
And hope for the best in that sense, you know, hope that they would return the money back that they've loaned. Yes. Yes. Well, like what I mentioned at the start, we did do a beta test. So at the start of the year, we created a program, which is more an advanced form of mastermind. We had a peer-to-peer mastermind, wherein we had 10 entrepreneurs. And from there, the things that we found out came out from the discussions that we've had with those 10 entrepreneurs. So this is also one way to start off with an idea, you know, to test it, to just say, when we started the Action Catalyst program, we didn't have anything. We just have a framework. And I said, okay, I can work on this framework, and then I can share it, you know, I can share it with the group. But we didn't have it finished. And since it's a monthly meeting, we were just doing it on the go. So every month, I would create, oh, here's the checklist for what we're going to do. You know, send it out to Eleonora. We will discuss how we can share with it. And then every month for the past 6 months, this is what we were doing. And then after that, yeah, we were able to identify what are the needs of entrepreneurs, especially scaling up entrepreneurs. So this is another niche that we would like to get into. Now we're talking to starters, but scaling up entrepreneurs is also one area that we are very much interested in looking at. Those who have been in the business for more than 3 years and who are already probably earning an income out of it, but are still bogged down by accepting clients or projects that they don't really want to do because they just want the money. So this is another niche that we are looking into.
Yeah, we have competitors. Yes, there are other yeah, we have a lot of competitors. There are a lot of programs out there that are aimed to help creative entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general. So we are not trying to, I don't know, avoid the idea that there is a competition. We don't really believe in competition as a block, but we are trying to do it our way, to do our best, and to partner up with people instead of being competitors. So a lot of people we get to know and they are doing something similar. The first thing we say, okay, how can we collaborate? How can we work together? Can you be our specialist in this area? So instead of competing, we are trying to bring them closer, because in this way, yeah, you have to share your cake with more people, but the cake is bigger. So it works better for anyone. And yeah, there are competitors, yes, and you deal with that. It's not something you can avoid. One other thing I want to say about your question, that for me, in my experiences teaching designers, you don't have to fall in love with your idea. You always have to be open to say, this thing that I tried, it didn't work. So we started with an idea in February, March. In March we started with this idea of doing peer-to-peer mastermind, and we realized we didn't like it so much, and people were not very helped by that. So we slowly changed it. We just changed it. And we keep changing. So you don't have to fall in love with, I have to do this product because it's my baby and needs to be exactly like this. And maybe nobody wants it. You have to fall in love with your purpose. So where you want to go, what's your why? And then the idea, the product can be something different. So that's very important to me to share.
So another point, that Eleonora pointed out is learning when to pivot or when to persevere, because this is a very crucial learning for us. Like when she said, "Oh, we realize we don't actually want to do the peer-to-peer masterminds because it's time-consuming, it's energy-consuming, and it's so difficult to talk to one person alone." So we had to go back to our business model and say, "What are we doing? What will we be doing?" The planner itself is not the first one. This is our third revision. So we've had 1 and 2 that we've tested with our group of peers, entrepreneurs also. So this is one way of looking at how you can do, you can build on that idea. And a while ago, you did ask about, okay, so how do you also think of sustaining it, or how do you think of building from it? Just like what we're doing. With the crowdfunding, it has opened opportunities for us. And building on the connections that we're getting from there would get us to the next stage, to the next level of where we want to be. So think of that, if there's one thing that you can, take out from this, is to think of who can you collaborate with, who can you connect with, and then later on, the crowdfunding thing, it's just a tool. You can do crowdfunding, you can do, other ways of being more credible. But yeah, crowdfunding really helped us to be more visible. It helps us to be out there. So for those of you who are thinking about it, get in touch with us. We have quite a lot of learnings. We were actually thinking, our next book would be how not to do a crowdfunding. and think of it as, these are all experiences. And at the end of the day, you get to ask yourself, do I persevere with this or do I pivot? And if you do pivot, then it's okay. Because then you're learning. It's not a mistake, it's not a failure, it's a matter of learning.
Yeah, just to conclude, I talked with a dear friend about the Kickstarter and everything. At some point, she's a very smart woman. She asked me, what if you fail? What's your plan if you fail, if you don't get the funding? And I just said, we cannot fail. I really said it with my heart. I say, we cannot fail. because the point is not anymore the funding. Of course, if you get the funding, yeah, champagne, you're super happy, you got to produce the book, send them to the entrepreneurs, they wanted it, great. But we cannot fail because we got so many contacts, so many possibilities of growth, so many new ideas, new connections. It cannot be a failure. So it will be just a learning experience. Okay, we failed at that, we didn't get the funding. Okay, go on with the next one. So the first 5 days, we were obsessed about the numbers. How much money are we getting? How much money are we getting? And now, I don't even know how much money we have. I don't really care. I was like, yes, I want the funding, but it's not my first concern. So yes, that was a very big shift for us, from checking every 5 seconds, oh my God, how it's going, to what percent that we are? I don't know, because I don't care anymore. I care to be here. Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting. First, the question on what to take out, especially for you guys who are, in essence, just really budding, having that idea. If you can just take in the circles of connection and leverage it to your advantage, that would work wonders. If you have that in mind in terms of who am I connecting with, and how can it, and how can it grow, help me grow? If that is in your mindset, then be open to possibilities. Be open to meeting new people. Like what I said, we weren't expecting to really talk to the big guy from Ernst & Young. I was just exploring. Oh, maybe I'll meet someone who's with Ernst & Young during that program. But he came to our table. He was very interested. He came out again and then went back to our table again. And I even flatly asked him, so which company do you represent? I was like, duh, because we were rushing and we were late for the event, so we didn't know him as the big, the big person, the big honcho in the
opening speech.
He did the opening
and we
speech.
missed it.
So he was like, oh, were you there? And we said no. But yeah, who are you connecting with? Because once we had that conversation with him, and I said, oh, you know what? We wanted to have a conversation with Ernst & Young in Amsterdam, but they said no to us. He immediately took out his phone and said, what's your email address? And then we said our email address, and then he sent us an email to say, send me a teaser so we can send it to Amsterdam. Immediately, right on the spot. We got his contacts, we got his go signal, and he's just waiting for us to send in that proposal so that he can forward it to Ernst & Young in Amsterdam. So that is that. Just thinking about your circles of connection. We have one question, and then later on, Eleonora can share the answer to yours. Yes. Yes. So one is we'd rather not just call it networking. It's connection. Because when you're thinking of networking, it's just a matter of having that revived circle, enlarging that. But when you're connecting, it means you want to have a relationship with them. So it's really having that genuine conversation and genuine thought of what can I contribute to you instead of what can you contribute to me. And this is where the difference in conversations would be. And probably this is what you can take in, that when you talk to somebody, an influencer or, somebody who's inspiring you, think of it as, oh, but what can I contribute to you? You know, how can I help you? How can I make life better for you? And if that is how the conversation goes, then it shifts the perspective immediately in terms of the relationship. And yes, for the last one, how did we start? How did we start with the planning, Eleonora? Would you want to share what you shared in Luxembourg?
Yeah. Okay. Now it's in the open, so, okay. I've been an entrepreneur for all my life. I never had a contract anywhere. So that's, I've been a graphic designer, I've been a branding strategist, I'm a painter, so I did many things. But a lot of my experience as entrepreneurs were very hard because I have a mental illness. And I shared it for the first time in front of an audience on Friday, so it was quite, but it was important. Because of my mental illness, my journey has been very difficult because I could be successful and I mean, got enough money to pay my bills and be happy, but it was very hard, very frustrating. I was using like 90% of my energy managing my symptoms and 10% of my energy making things happen. And I was against planning. So I couldn't plan, I couldn't organize my idea. It was a struggle. And last year, more or less this time, I was working with Lana on another project of mine, and I needed to know where to put my classes, my art classes. And she said, okay, let's make a plan for 2017. And I had a panic attack. I froze, and I told her, I cannot do that, it's impossible. I cannot do a planning, that's not happening. And then I had to reflect how this was so intense for me, and work backwards and take out a lot of bad memories and things I didn't want to face. And in the end, with her help, because she's brilliant, I'm so lucky to have her in my life and be my business partner, we slowly made a plan for 2017. It was like this big thing, this big shift. And I started seeing, I made a plan and I'm still alive. Okay. I made this first step. It was very difficult. I know it can sound silly, but it was the biggest step of my life, for my business. And I did this planning, and we started working on this idea, how can we make things work for people like you, who are very creative, no problem having ideas, but have a big struggle in organizing idea and making a plan. We started working on this, and then we got passionate. We were seeing the result in me, in other people. With my husband also say creative, we set the group together, and so Co.LAB was started. So it was out of a necessity for me, out of very deep need that I had, that I wanted to address. And so Co.LAB is now alive and is going well, and we saw how this method helps not only people like me, but everyone, because actually it's very valid. So this is how it started. This is why I want to be here 40 years from now and telling the successful story of Co.LAB, because it's so important to me to help people like me, and we are a lot, and also people who don't have a mental illness but have a lot of ideas to make them happen. So that's the story behind it, and I think I will share it more because I made the first step, so now it's out. Thank you for listening.
I just wanted to say thank you very much because the two ladies have travelled from Amsterdam today, and I've met Lana before face to face and followed what she's done online, which has been great, and it's the first time I've met them. But I can see from your questions, and you can probably see those of you who are my business students why I asked them, because they've done a lot of the same things we've done in the classes, and I hope it was helpful. There's one for you, if you could take that. Oh, it's all tangled. I'm all tangled up. So that's a little thank you for them. I would love to get a quick photo. I think we've got another lecture now, but I'd love to get a quick photo with a few students and the planners and the speakers, if anyone wants to be in it very quickly. I'm going to, if they can, stay for coffee at the Lighthouse. Then you can come and ask them some more questions. And the very last thing, I was trying to get it up on the screen here, but I think there's no mouse or anything here, but I've got another survey. Those of you who have come before, I always put it on Socrative, which is Socrative, but I have to give you the room number. So maybe if you want to see me quickly, or I'm Renee Veldman-Tentori, or Ms. Verbaum, if you just want to email us some feedback. We're trying to get these weekly lectures up and running, and it'd be great to have feedback from the students who are here. So thanks for coming, and we'll talk more soon.
One last thing, we have copies of the planner if you want to buy it, of course. So just ask us, okay? Thank you for being here today. We're very grateful.